Okay, so this is what I've done. I've taken the indictment because the indictment is so freaking dry and because it's so uninteresting. What I've done is that I've actually taken that indictment and I've just put it on an Excel spreadsheet so we can go over all of this stuff and hopefully make it a little bit more interesting. If not, make it a little bit more interesting. Hopefully, we can just get through it in the more efficient manner. Let me see if I can change the fonts here on the fly. Where's Arial? Arial, and then we'll do 14. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Should we do 15 or 16? All right, let's roll with 16. Let's roll with this, right? Hopefully you guys can see this a lot better. I know it's always a pain to view stuff like this over your phone. If you're watching this over your phone, just bear with me and I'll just try to, get through this as quickly as possible, right? So the first count is against Jane Doe number one, and it's for forcible oral copulation, right? And that's going to be in violation of Penal Code 288 AC2A. And I've kind of went over the penal codes, and again, I'm trying to keep from boring you guys to death. But when you look at the indictment, the other thing I noticed about the indictment is that they were pretty good at telling you what the violation was, right? Versus some other indictments, sometimes you have to look up the code. I'm not doing that for this video. I looked up a few of these, but I'm not going to present all of the actual penal codes or the law on this particular video, right? So basically 288A is for forcible oral copulation. Now there are some defenses to these crimes. Now again, with Ron Jeremy, I'm not going to say whether or not I support him, right? I would like to support Ron Jeremy. you know he is, everybody, I'm not ashamed to say I know who he is, but basically he is a pornographer, and anybody who's seen any of his videos knows that he's just a happy go lucky guy. And yeah, I would like to support him, but for the most part, I'm just going to kind of stay neutral. And the reason I'm going to stay neutral is because I've seen other videos by other users or posters on YouTube, and they made some pretty good points, right? They made some pretty good points, and I was convinced, I was convinced. But on the same token, some of the information they posted was a little questionable. So we're going to just kind of go through all the charges first, and then I will talk about the defenses, right? But and I noticed that a lot of my text is just kind of off. That's just the way it came out when I cut and pasted. But anyway, going on to count two. Count two is against Jane Doe number one. I'm assuming the same person, and it's basically for forceful sexual intercourse, right? Sexual intercourse, force, violence, duress, menace, fear, intimidation, right? So this is in violation of Penal Code 261A2. And the third count is actually for Jane Doe number two. This too is basically the same thing, forceful intercourse or rape, and it's in violation of Penal Code Section 261A2. The fourth count is basically for sexual battery restraint, and this is in violation of Penal Code Section 243.4A. And basically, I believe this one is essentially groping. That's what I believe it is. And then the fifth count is for sexual penetration by use of force. Don't know how it's different from rape. It doesn't really say it in the indictment, but this one is a separate penal code 289A1A, right? Now, keep in mind that Ron Jeremy is a performer. right? So I believe this could be in he's a pornographic performer. So I don't know what the context of this is, but and I'm speculating big time. If it has anything to do with his job, then it wouldn't be surprising to know that he used a dildo or vibrator or something like that on a woman. Wouldn't be surprised, right? So I don't know exactly what this is, and we probably won't know until the case starts or unless one of the victims comes out. But anyway, moving along, count number six basically involves Jane Doe number three again, and basically sexual penetration against a will. Again, notice that, and it's the same penal code 289A1A. Again, notice that it's sexual penetration. So we're not talking about necessarily that, he had sex with her, right? It could be that, he basically used a vibrator or a dildo or something like that. So, and then just moving this along, just to speed it up, Jane Doe number seven, I'm sorry, count seven, Jane Doe number three is sexual penetration by intoxicating substance. So here is where we get into something I talked about in the other video, where the person could have been intoxicated. Maybe they were drinking or they were doing drugs and they pass out, and he has sex or he penetrates them with something while they're under influence, and this is going to be in violation of Penal Code 289E, right? And then the final count is going to be against Jane Doe number four. And that one is going to be forcible rape. And it's going to be the same as the first couple of violations. Penal Code Section 261A2, right? So all in all, there's about four different victims. And it could be actually five because we look at count six, it actually says and another person, sexual penetration against the will, and it says and another person, right? So basically, the defense for these are going to be the same, right? So I did some basic research on the defenses, and I'm going to end this video with just mentioning them, and then I'm going to come back in the third video and I'm going to actually talk through them, right? So the first defense is actually going to be an honest mistake, right? I'm not going to say anything more than that. Just going to let you know that that is a bona fide defense. I've looked it up. And then the second defense is going to be prostitution, right? That's a potential defense, right? And it's in a way it could be related to number one, but not necessarily. And then the third defense is going to be mental illness. And then the fourth defense is going to be that, there's some witness out there, so on and so forth. I know this thing just kind of looks dyslexic of how I just put it all together. I didn't even make them the same size. But, who cares? It's too late now. We're doing this. So these are all the possible defenses. I'm going to end this video right here and just let you guys just kind of marinate on this, right? So uh, I tried to make this thing a little bit more interesting. I tried to get through it as quickly as possible. So on the next video, it's probably going to be the final video, at least for now. And that video, we're going to probably first go over some of the content that I've seen posted by other YouTube users and just other people on the internet talking about Ron Jeremy. And then at the end of that video, what I'll probably do is I'll come back and I'll finish my legal analysis of Ron Jeremy's situation. But right up front, I'll just say that this guy is in a world of trouble. I would really hate to be him. And like I said, also I'm doing a 360-degree turn on my opinion of all of this because I think when I made the first video, again, I just kind of supported Ron Jeremy a little bit. The reality is that I really don't know the details, right? So it's hard to support Ron Jeremy when you don't know the details, especially with these allegations. Now, I will tell you, in comparison, on my channel, there's been other videos that I've done where I supported people who've been alleged of things like this. I kind of had a little access, to the details, or the details as I know it, right? So I was able to, because, so for example, in R. Kelly's situation, there were there was the surviving R. Kelly video, and you get a chance to hear some of the things that people are saying. And then there was knowledge of some of the victims. And then, some victims did interviews with Vlad TV. So in that situation, I kind of got a chance to get information about the charges as it pertains to R. Kelly. So in my opinion, I was able to make, to say something, because I was able to see most of the stuff was just 100% nonsense. But in this case, I don't have access to that information. We don't have access to some of the victims. So, we really can't say one way or the other, right? So at any rate, that's going to be it for this video. Now, what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to switch gears. We're going to end this video, and then the next video, we're going to switch gears. We're going to look at some commentary from other people who basically posted content about Ron Jeremy. That's it for this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and let me know what you thought about this video.